How's it going, guys? Bradley Sutton from Helium 10, and I wanted to talk to you guys about search volume. Perhaps you've noticed in Magnet and Cerebro, instead of having two different columns, exact phrase search volume, broad phrase search volume, now there is only one column called search volume. So in case you missed the announcement earlier, as of late last year, Amazon closed the access to all tool developers to the exact phrase and broad phrase search volume. Until that time, everyone was using the same data point, and they were able to give you information from Amazon that showed you how many times Amazon was saying products were or keywords were being used to search during a month. All right. So now in the middle of December, that got taken off, and we did not right away do anything about it. We had been working on this for a while, different algorithms that we were developing and different ways to prioritize keywords because we knew that this would probably go away eventually. But we didn't race out to implement any of these new algorithms or prioritization techniques because at the time it wasn't that urgent. For example, most of us use these the search volume. At least I did when I launched all my products. I love search volume because it allowed me to prioritize keywords. What do I mean? For example, let's say collagen powder. All right, let's say collagen powder at the time, showed 150,000 exact phrase search volume, and maybe collagen peptides had 100,000. Okay, so I would know that, hey, if I can only pick one of two keywords to maybe do an email blast on, or I would only pick one that I'm going to do a big PPC campaign on, well, then I would know that I'm going to pick collagen powder because it had more searches. Just makes sense, right? You could only do so many phrases at the beginning of your title, so you want to pick the best ones. At the same time, going down to the lower volume ones, maybe I knew I could only get X number of keywords in, and once I'm getting to the bottom of the bottom, I'm like, well, which ones do I cut? Which ones do I keep? Again, having search volume helped me to prioritize. Well, even with that data point closed, things were still working the same way. I mean, you could still use the data from December to prioritize. Maybe collagen powder and collagen peptides increased in search volume overall in January because people have New Year's resolution, this being a dietary supplement, right? But at the same time, it's not like collagen peptides was going to get more searches than collagen powder. However, what could have been different is if people are using the CPR method to estimate how many products it might give away to get to page one. Well, that is a little bit different story. Not many of you guys are using that. Most of you guys use the prioritization techniques, but we're like, we need to go ahead and roll this out for the people who are starting now to do launches, and so that they can have a little more better visibility into how many units it might take to get to page one. What is involved in our new search volume? First of all, this is based off of historical exact phrase search volume. In all of our questionnaires to different customers, we noticed that not many people were using the broad phrase. So we just took that off, especially since we have these other columns here. We need some space. But a lot of people did not even look at the broad phrase search volume. So we're just going to condense that to what we call search volume. Now, here's the issue. A lot of times there's seasonal products, all right? Like a Christmas product will have crazy search volume in December, but then in January it might go down, in February down. A beach ball might have a lot of search volume in the summer months, but then in December it might go down. Well, we've been tracking all of these search volumes. We actually have the largest database of that because if you recall, if you were around at the end of 2017, we were the first major tool for a while to have this exact phrase and broad phrase. So we have the best historical data out there that we're basing our new numbers on. So what we did is we developed an algorithm that's going to analyze, all of the recent data we've had, all of the trends over the past 15 months that we had exact phrase search volume, and to give you the best estimate of what the search volume is. And that's the number that you're now seeing. Our developer, Boyan, our CTO, said a lot of times this actually might be a more accurate number than what we were showing before. How so? Did you know, or I'm sure you guys have seen this if you're doing tons of product research, but did you ever notice how some keywords had a 0 for exact phrase search volume? Yeah, it had a 0. But it had a broad phrase search volume, and it wasn't 0. Like, I remember one of the words was like some detox word. It was a huge keyword, right? The main keyword, and for a while, for like 2 months, Amazon would show 0. It doesn't matter whatever tool you used out there, Amazon would show 0. That was not accurate, but we still showed that to you because we would only show you what Amazon was giving us. We didn't want to, make up a number at that time because we were telling everybody that this was from Amazon, so we just had to keep it to that. But now, you are always going to see a number for the ones that we have historical data on. What would happen is, like, for example, that detox keyword, eventually it fixed itself, all right? And then now we were able to see a historical trend between the broad and exact. So we could kind of extrapolate what the exact might have been during that time it was showing 0. So like, let's say this time last year, detox would have shown 0. Now we're actually giving you a number that you can feel more confident, a lot more than 0, because we have all this historical data that we, are showing. So you might think that that was a small case. No, there are actually millions of keywords that we have. In the millions. I'm not exaggerating, literally millions. I mean, we've got tens of millions of data on keywords, but there are literally millions in our database that Amazon, for the entire time that they were showing it, or at least a few weeks or a month, showed 0 exact phrase search volume as a glitch. Because we knew there was a search volume for it because they had a decent number of broad. Literally millions of keywords had that. So now we are going to be showing you guys estimates that were better than 0. All right. What's another reason why we switched to this new model? Well, look at some of the toys, right? Toys had tons of searches in December, obviously not as much in January. So, if you were trying to launch a toy in January, you might want a better accurate CPR number. Like, for example, there was one keyword I was looking at. It had over 200,000, something about toys for boys in a certain age. And I'm looking here, and in December, it had 201,000 exact phrase search volume. Tons. All right. But January of last year, it had only 50,000 searches. So, for that one, you're going to see a different number now based on our algorithm that we have developed that is going to give you as accurate as possible what the estimation for 2019 January is going to be. Sometimes things don't change that much. Like, for example, glue gun related keywords. There are some glue gun related keywords that in December of 2018, when we had the data from Amazon, it would say something like, let's say 38,000, right? But then if we look at January 2018, last year, it was like 34,000 or something like that, right? Very, very similar, because that's not really a seasonal keyword. So on those numbers, the number that you're looking at right now might look very similar to what you saw in December because the search volume does not fluctuate that much. So that's just a couple of the examples. There are some extreme examples of words that, for example, of one of those millions of keywords that showed 0 was, I believe it was electric scooter. Electric scooter, was showing tens of thousands. Now it's showing tens of thousands of searches, right? And especially December was way high. It was like in the 6 figures. A lot of toys and things that were popular for gifts sometimes are 5x, 5 times what the search volume is now. But for that one, January of last year, Amazon was saying 0. There was 0 search volume. We know that's not true. It's not like electric scooters were just invented. All right. So, guys, we have this new data that you guys can trust, and it's estimated search volume based on the exact phrase search volume of the historical exact phrase search volume that we have been collecting over the 15 months that it was available. So, guys, feel confident in these numbers. But if you see something that you really, really think should not be the case, please go ahead and submit it to support@helium10.com, and we will take a look at it and see if there's something that can be improved. But right now, I did a whole bunch of tests, and everything seems to be excellent. I'm very confident in these numbers, and as you guys know, I'm still testing keyword launches and the CPR number. I'm constantly testing those every week. I'm doing like 5 or 6 just to make sure everything is still working, because that's one of my passions, keyword launches and getting things to page 1. So I'm still going to test these. I'm sure you guys are going to test it. If you notice any anomalies, please let us know. And thank you for using Helium 10 to help you rise to the top. See you guys.